Alright, hi guys. I wanted to do a quick video today about finding scholarly sources using Google, right? So we use the library, we go there, but sometimes you can find sources on Google. So this is a little bit about how to take a look at what you can find and how to know if it's scholarly. So Google gives us a section called scholarly articles, right? So you can always click on that and that will show you different results, probably from the library. What can happen is you find one, you click on it, but you need to access it, like you need to go to an account or whatever. If that's the case, I usually try to just copy the title of the thing that I want. So I copy the title of the article, and then I go to the library, and our Chamberlain library, and I put in the title and have it search. And sometimes it'll come up and it'll have a full article because the library devotes, subscribes to a bunch of services. So anyway, that's the scholarly articles. So when you go, all right, but so we want to look at non-scholarly articles, just what you find in Google. There's a few different things I want to point out. All right, so you can click on this. An article seems possible. The way you check to see if it's actually going to be a scholarly article, something you can use, is you scroll through the entire article. So before you really read anything, I would scroll all the way to the end, and what you're looking for is this, right? References. So actual references that from legit publications means that this is a scholarly article. So like you could use this. So the next type of article is one that's more like a pamphlet, I guess, something like that, right? So here's an organization about combating poverty. It's going to have actual facts and statistics in it. The problem is most of them may not be cited. So you scroll to the end, you see there's no credentials, no references, so no good. Okay, but here's an interesting one I wanted to show people. All right, so this one, you're looking at it, it seems like a pretty legit place with an actual legit article. You're scrolling through it, you start to see facts and everything, you're like, all right, so now you're going to scroll all the way to the end to try to see if it has any references. The problem with this one is all it has are comments. So I'm like, all right, that's not what I need. So then I notice this view PDF thing. I click on view PDF, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is basically a newsletter. Again, it could have perfectly good, useful information. The problem is it doesn't give its references, so it's not scholarly. Right, so you can't use it. But here's what this type of source is good for. You'll notice throughout the source there's a bunch of links. And these are links to actual studies, right, to actual real information that you can use. So what I do with a document like this is I scroll through, reading it, skimming it, for maybe information that might be useful to whatever my topic is. This one takes me to a CDC report. That's totally actual information that you can use. I look at it, I'm like, okay, it's 2012, which is a little bit too old. So sometimes what I do is I'll copy the title of the document. If it seems like it's a yearly thing, since this is the National Health Survey, and then I'll just put it into Google and see, and I'll change the date to make it something that's more what I need. The other thing I wanted to talk about was in the discussion board, week 2, I've sort of changed that group document and tried to make it a place where people can sort of put their draft ideas about what their thesis is and what their 3 main ideas are, and I can comment on them. So if you get a chance, what you want to do is stop by. Hopefully you should be able to access it basically directly from Canvas in this same window. And what you're trying to do is come up with your thesis statement. Now, I sort of broke it into 2 parts. This essay, unlike other ones, has this sort of problem-solution idea. So what you may need to be doing is describing the problem, or 3 main aspects of the problem, and then suggesting 3 main solutions. So that would be one way to think about it. And it depends on where you are in this process. You might have thought only about the problem or only about a single solution. But in this essay, we're going to be trying to do both. So this is my example of, a thesis statement that uses the word because and gives 3 reasons. And then my supporting arguments are sort of the 3 ideas that are supposed to, help combat those or solve those three problems that are brought up. So in my essay, I'll probably see if I'll be able to pair them together, right? So I'll say, here's the problem. There's not a good prenatal care for women living in low-income communities, and my solution to that will be government investing in healthcare, specifically in prenatal care and so on. And I want to find information. I want to find other countries that might be doing it differently, right? This is where I need to find actual research that's going to help me say, like, look, this is a problem, and here's how we know it's a problem. Here's the mortality rate. Like, I want to prove that neonatal, prenatal stuff doesn't, without having that care, low-income women sort of suffer, and they're at risk, their babies are at risk, and so on. Anyway, so that's what this document's for. I'm going to be carrying it over from week to week, right? So this is only week 2. So if you don't know that yours now, that's fine. You can, next week, we're sort of, honing in on it, narrowing in on what we want to say, and we can communicate through here. All right, guys, so I'll talk to you soon. See ya.